So this is more of like a diary entry type thing that I'm doing right now. I was supposed to make a video a couple of weeks ago, but the energy involved got to me before I could post the video. The transformative energy of going through the darkness yet again. That full moon was a big one. Excuse me. Right now, I'm in a transitionary period where I'm moving. Basically, like, I was living in one place and then I moved to a more rural place, and now I'm back where I started. And it's weird. It's not necessarily challenging. I think the challenging part is the actual physical aspect of moving. But on the spiritual aspect, I feel calm. I took a risk and decided to do something that I was afraid to do. And the result so far has been a sense of relief. Not only a sense of relief, but like lots of synchronicities. Not just angel numbers and palindromes, but other things too, such as like seeing a specific name on a cardboard box, or seeing like a specific number in a series of digits, not like a random angel number, but like a number that like pertains to you, like your birthday or something. Just lots of things, and I feel okay. To me, this is very simple. If you've ever played the classic Tomb Raider games, you'll know what I'm talking about. But to me, this feels very much like when you're playing Tomb Raider and you start hearing the theme music because the game is letting you know that you're heading in the right direction. And that's what it feels like to me, to see all these synchronicities while I'm in this transitionary state. Facing fears and doing the hard thing. Yeah, it's about doing the hard thing. My transition will pose a couple of challenges. You know, I have a church I want to go to, so I'll have to do a whole commute type of arrangement to go and still see my people. I'm not ready to move on from my specific parish. I don't think it's time yet to move on either. I'm going to go with my instincts, because I noticed that if it goes with my instincts, I take my time, I wait for the right moment, things just work out way better. I'm looking forward to growth and change. I feel like the place that I'm living right now has lessons to teach me, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be challenging. Like right now, I'm in the honeymoon stage of the situation. I know it's going to happen, but being able to have that awareness and being able to be prepared gives you a chance to be more mindful. Approach situations and challenges mindfully, it's a lot easier on you, on your spirit and your peace. I want to embrace the growth and the change that comes my way. Sometimes this takes the form of challenges that I feel like I cannot handle. My most recent depression was an unprecedented experience. It was unlike any other depressive episode I had ever had. Up until very recently, I've been extremely suicidal for many years, and it would get worse and worse and worse. But this most recent depressive episode with suicidal ideation, it felt supernatural. It felt supernatural. I was having these beliefs, these very damaging beliefs that were the types of damaging beliefs that separate you from God, from yourself. And that separation causes pain because you are separated not just from yourself and from God, but from the love that's there, the love that you have for yourself and the love that God has for you. I don't remember if I prayed or not, but one night I had a dream where I saw the Archangel Gabriel. There's not much I can tell you about this dream. My visions tend to be very simple. The being is there. When I saw Jesus back in 2021, he was just there. When I saw Mary earlier this year, she was just present. Mary has spoken to me in more recent, but she generally does not speak to me. So when I saw the Archangel Gabriel, he was just standing there. And the next day I felt significantly better, to the point where I believe that this was a spiritual attack and that the Archangel Gabriel came to help me. And the thing is with spiritual attacks is that beings that are trying to attack you and feed off of the energy that they get from what they do, they target existing metaphorical demons. So this particular incident was targeting a specific trauma, early childhood trauma. I was like 12. So adolescent trauma. I was in a transitionary period. Adolescent trauma. And this particular trauma is extremely deep. It is very large and scary for me to process. I don't know how and when I'm going to process it. I think I know what I'm going to do for the how. I'm going to do this therapeutic treatment that has helped me process trauma in the past. But it's quite a behemoth. It's causing the majority of problems in my life. And if I can heal that, I can proceed with my life. I can move forward and I can start actually really living it. Because with all the work I have done up until now, it's helped a lot. I'm doing a lot better than I was last year even. And there's always going to be ups and downs. Progress isn't linear, growth isn't linear, healing isn't linear. But to be in an upward trend, that's the real goal, to be in an upward trend. So when I think about healing in all of this, and I think about the fact that I still have more things to process, I think about how big this one feels inside of me, how it feels like it's so much bigger than me. But it can't be that much bigger than me, because if it was that much bigger than me, I wouldn't be able to carry it. So what's really happening is that whatever is underneath all that trauma is so big and beautiful and powerful, but it can't be itself because it is carrying this burden in an effort to try to protect me. It's refusing to let go of the pain because the pain was so bad that I never want to experience it again. But I do experience it again and again and again. I've experienced it throughout my whole life. And it's the kind of thing that, well, it's not the kind of thing. If my grandfather hadn't done what he did when I was little, and I'm not going to leave this up to the imagination, I'll share it. I don't want to leave it up to the imagination. But if he hadn't treated me the way that he had treated me, all the other incidents wouldn't have mattered. It would have just been like, oh, you're a jerk, you know? What my grandfather had done was, when I was very young, he raised me. My brother and I had to live with my grandparents. So my grandfather raised me, and he shared all of these, like, spiritual and mystical, teachings with me. And he was the person who sort of initiated me into spirituality, into all of these things. It's what led me here. But when I was around 11 or 12 years old, I was able to move back in with my mother. And after that, my grandfather decided he wanted nothing to do with me. And he was very mean and terrible and toxic about it, picking fights with me and then blaming me. It was just a complete 180. And I'm like really young. I'm not even a teenager quite yet. And this is happening to me. I'm being abandoned by somebody who gave me nothing but unconditional love up until that point, or so I thought. But maybe there were signs that I couldn't see because I was literally a child. And it sucks. Because it happens a lot where I'll meet somebody and they'll be cool with me, and then for reasons unknown to me, they'll decide they want nothing to do with me and they'll treat me like crap. Sometimes I know, sometimes they'll tell me what it is. But sometimes it's just arbitrary. And these are often people who claim to care deeply for me, just like my grandfather. So it's just pain. Like, it's just pain. But like I said before, if he hadn't done that to me when I was so young, any other incident after that would not have mattered. Because I would have had the strength and security to be like, okay, whatever, you don't like me, then whatever, you know? Or at the very least, it wouldn't have affected me as deeply as it did at the time. Because now I'm looking back and I'm looking at all the related traumas, or not related, but the ones that have the same energy. And I'm realizing that none of them are that significant compared to the original. And I feel like if I can heal the original, everything else will come with it. Treat a child with all this love and to suddenly decide that you don't love them anymore. And I'm not saying he didn't love me anymore, but that's how I felt. That's how he made me feel. what is it that I had to tell myself to cope with what he did? Because I definitely internalized it. What kind of belief would a child develop going through something like that? I don't know. It will manifest differently in everyone. Everybody is different. Some people will externalize it, and some people will internalize it. And then, of course, there's always people who do a little of both. But if I and anyone who's been through any sort of trauma, especially childhood trauma, can figure out the beliefs that the trauma made us take on in order to survive, we can move forward and we can heal. That's just a fact. It's been historically true for me personally. It's been historically true for other people. So it's going to be the same for this trauma and the next one. And it's going to be the same for yours. Whoever is watching, if you're watching. Yeah. I think that's it. I just needed to talk. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody. Even only one person. If it helps one person,